So we are good. So we look at all of these initials, this alphabet soup behind my name, and what in the world does it mean? My mother doesn't even know, okay? And often this is the look I get. In fact, many of it, the front row's got that look right now. Okay, what does it mean? So as I go ahead and explain myself, I go ahead and I bring up this, and people say, I can't read that. Well, good, don't, okay? Don't. It's just to show this is what scientists and academicians like to explain. Well, this is what I do to one another. No one can understand that. I'm a double-boarded, tenured associate professor. I'm a theriogenologist. That's the study of bringing forth the beast. Who wants to know that, okay? You know, reproductive anatomy. You say that you could be asked to leave a restaurant. And if you teach junior high Sunday school, they will not ask you back if you mention that. Been there, done that, okay? And so what's the normal response to that? Oh, you do what? You do what? We are right now living in a communication crisis. In a communication crisis. And hopefully today, I can give you a little bit of an idea of just the first steps to take in dealing with that. Because is it any wonder with the way that scientists and people in academia talk that people don't, there's a polarization in that relationship between academia and the non-academic real world. There's people not trusting what scientists have to say. I dare not say it in this room, but climate change could get people throwing things at me. Okay? What does it mean? Okay? And other types of things. And so what do you do in this kind of situation? And is it important for the real world, the lay public, to actually understand what scientists and people in the medical fields, in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields, what they actually do? Is it important? Well, by no other expert than Albert Einstein, he said, and he actually claimed this. There's a lot of things that Albert Einstein people say he said, but he didn't actually say. But this one, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And so one of the great reasons to be able to go ahead and explain something simply is to try to do that is you understand it better. You understand it better. And why is it important that the public understands? Because the public is directly making impact on what type of research is being financed, what type of budgetary decisions are being made for higher education. Okay, and here's the other thing, is that I have people who actually like me, that are in that's a surprise, okay? But in the real world. And if I can be the face of science, if I can be that guy that they know and I can explain something to them so that they understand and trust what I'm saying, that takes us a long way from the types of controversies we are experiencing today. Each of you in academia, each of you if you're in a technical field, needs to be able to explain what you do in simple, plain English, okay? So, elevator statements, okay? Elevator statements, the same type of simple and concise statements that you can use in marketing or business. People in the sciences, people in academia can use to be able to explain what they do. And it's important. And so hopefully I can give you kind of the journey that I've been on, and then also hopefully how that might apply to your situation. Now, of course, we're going to have a live demo here. This gets a little scary, but of course, if you want to explain anything in the world, one must do it with balloon animals. Okay, so I'm just saying, Make sure that everyone has, nobody's gotten twisted. Okay, that's good. Okay, so intentional and careful, that's a little concerning. Anyway, intentional and strategic communication. Okay, what does it look like? Well, first of all, what does it not look like? It doesn't look like this. This is a snake. But only a child under the age of 8 is going to think that thought, okay? It means a lot of other things to a lot of other people. Throw that out of our lives, okay? Then, of course, let's do a dog, okay? Which, intentionally, I go ahead and I made ears and I made neck and I made a leg. But again, this is kind of like, when I did the snake, it's kind of like just using one word for what I do. I'm a professor. I'm a doctor. I'm a vet. That's the worst one, vet. Well, people say, well, what war were you in? Well, I was at the Naval Academy for a day and a half. True story, okay, but that's not the same thing. But here, I'm going ahead and I'm using some type of jargon or some type of techno speak or letters. We love to use letters now. Okay, what in the world does that mean? And we get a dog. But is it really a dog? Because each and every one of you has a different opinion of what a dog looks like. Okay? This could be a rabbit, or it could be, this is my favorite part, it could be, if this works, ooh, it's an anteater. All depends on perspective. But if I take a yellow balloon and I give it short ears intentionally, I give it a long neck. Now, they have horns too, but I've left those out, okay? That's the next CD. And give it a little longer legs in the front than in the back, and a little tail. Have to be careful with this one. It's a giraffe. And actually, if I take a black marker and I add marks to it, it's a giraffe. Now, the fact is, we now know genomically that there are 3 different species of giraffes. But they all look the same, okay? There you go. Giraffe, run free, find the anteater, okay. So if we're going to go ahead and we're going to have intentional and strategic communication, and that's really important. We all know that it's okay to work hard, but working smart is really important as we craft our message. So, in the 3 M's of messaging from the American Association for the Advancement of Science, we've got memorable, meaningful, and minimal. They use miniature, but I like minimal. Oh, hair trigger here. Mark Twain. If you had to have memorable, who's more memorable than Mark Twain? And if you're from Missouri, you're not allowed to remember anybody else, okay? It's Mark Twain. And Mark Twain once said, "Let us endeavor to live in such a way that even the undertaker is sad when we die." Yeah, we've got people crying in the second row. It's amazing. And the other thing is that, and again, being enthusiastic. Woo! You know, Ralph Waldo Emerson said nothing great could be accomplished without enthusiasm. And I think that's important. Meaningful. Okay, meaningful. Well, clarity. Clarity. What's more clear than a diamond? So something that's clear, that somebody that understands. What's the significance of it, okay? What's new about it, okay? Where are the information gaps? Then what's the impact? It could be as monumental as curing cancer, okay? Or it could be as simple as just getting gainful employment. How many of you want to get gainful employment? Oh, well, a lot of you are going to be on your parents' paycheck still, so that's good. Okay, great, not great goals there. Okay, what can I say? So at this point, as you take the memorable, what's meaningful, and try to craft your message. And again, what's the intended message? Let's be intentional and strategic. Research interests. What's the audience? Okay, let's just say research students, okay, initially. I do a lot of teaching as well. I do a lot of clinical work. Significance, okay, so we're talking about chemical exposures. There are a lot of chemicals that traditional experimental models have told us are potentially toxic to reproductive function. Ooh, people are cringing, okay? But But the information gaps, what are the risks posed to pregnancies by the typical levels of exposure? Okay, and so novelty. I work with pigs, which are a lot like humans. And I have a teenage son, and it leaves no doubt in my mind that pigs are very similar to humans, okay? I'm just letting you know that. And the confirmation, the impact, is that I can work with this model to demonstrate or confirm what chemicals pose a risk at very low levels of exposure. That's really important, okay? So minimal, Leonardo da Vinci. I have enriched myself so much by working on this presentation. Leonardo da Vinci said that simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. And then, of course, there's the kiss on his cheek, the keep it simple and straightforward principle. Okay? Simple and concise. That is the key for an elevator pitch statement. Now, minimal. Okay, this is 100 words. Okay, 100 words. I can recite this in about 45 seconds to a minute. But based on some in-depth research that I've done with students of the University of Missouri, this particular 100-word presentation, which is perfect for a student doing a poster presentation, okay? And if you've done poster presentation, that's short. But if you're talking to somebody, this will take you, with a group of students in an elevator, will take you from the basement at the Life Sciences building at the University of Missouri, all the way up to the 5th floor, back from the 5th floor down to the basement, and back up to the 3rd floor. Not very many people stay on the elevator that long, okay? There's something wrong if they are, okay? Be alert. Yeah, people on elevators, yeah, anyway. But, again, now everyone feels so secure now. Then the other thing is sometimes people are running late, okay? People are running late. Or there's just some things you can't talk about in public, like most of what I do, okay? You can't, reproduction, you gotta be a little careful on that. So here's really minimal, okay? There are some common chemicals that can prevent the birth of normal children, healthy children, whether it's because of an effect on the mother, the father, or the child itself, at typical levels of exposure. I work with pigs that are a lot like humans to identify those chemicals. That's pretty straightforward, and that I can get somebody if they're running away from me. I can say, hey, there you go. So how does this apply to you? Well, here is the typical Furman University senior with her father. The significance is, okay, you've gone ahead and been here 4 years. What are you going to do? Are you going to be able to support yourself? And she says, Dad, because I've got to Furman, I'm going to have gainful employment. I'm going to change the world. Woo! Okay? Maybe she's got to talk to Grandma. And Grandma's got a different, why don't I see you anymore? Why don't you come to my house? Why aren't you there for Sunday dinner? Well, Grandma, I'm a political science major, or I'm a pre-med major, and everyone's getting older, and we need to have good lawyers and good doctors for older people. And she said, oh, great, I'll just send a pie in the mail, okay? And then there's the prospective boss. Significance, you finished your 4 years at Furman, but the impact he wants to know is, what are you going to do for me? What is your education going to do for my company? That's his emphasis. So the next time you're talking about what you do, and you get this look, okay, and I'm getting it again in the 3rd row. Think about different versions of your elevator statement. Think about the fact that we need to communicate in an intentional and strategic manner. And to do that, we need a memorable, meaningful, and minimal message so we can have a simple and concise elevator statement. Thank you.